Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. As a lot of you guys already know, we've been working on a Chevrolet Blazer that's had a brake line that broke, and we did a lot of things to it, including replacing the broken brake line. We also fixed a master cylinder that one of the seals was leaking, so we put a new master cylinder on it. The truck had been setting up for a long time, and basically what's happened here is this: we can't get all the air out of the ABS. So I called one of the Chevrolet dealerships to find out how much it would cost to take it in and have them get the air out. And it was pretty much close to the same amount of money that it's going to cost to purchase this. There's a whole lot of reviews online and information online about the Foxwell NT 630 Plus. And if you'll notice there, it says ABS, airbag, and SAS. So basically what this thing's going to hopefully do for us is we're hopefully going to be able to plug this thing on and bleed the ABS system. This is not a paid sponsorship or anything like that, and we may do a review on it for you guys, but what we're really trying to do is we're trying to see what the total cost would be to do this yourself, and then kind of compare it to what it would cost for you to take it to a dealer, which you know is going to be a lot higher. But if this thing can simplify it for us, and we can get all the air out of the ABS, then you know, this is going to save a lot of people a lot of money, and including my dad. So I already put a new set of brake pads on the back when we fixed the broken brake line, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a set on the front. That way when this thing leaves, it's pretty much got a new system on it, new brakes on the front and the back, and a new master cylinder and everything good. That's going to be the plan. Yeah, you know what they say about having a plan. So let's get to it. All right, I'm going to kind of give you a little overview here of what's happened with this truck. This is a 2004 Chevrolet Blazer. It's got the 4.3 liter Vortec V6. We changed the master cylinder. Like I said, this truck had been setting up for over a year, and of course you had parts on it from 2004 that were set in steel. And what happened was this master cylinder, I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg kind of a scenario, but this master cylinder was leaking out the back. I guess one of the seals had gone bad, so we replaced the master cylinder. Upon doing so, and we did that because the master cylinder was dry. Now we only solved half the problem, because the reason the master cylinder was actually dry, I believe, is there was a brake line on the back driver's side that had broke above onto the frame. So I have a video. I'll put the playlist up here on one side or the other, and maybe a link to the video. It will be in the description or up above here, where you can go back and you can see that video where I changed the brake line, how I fixed it, all those good things. Anyway, so we replaced the master cylinder and fixed the brake line, and after this thing had set for so long without brake fluid in it, the ABS module, which is here on this particular vehicle, and it probably would be on a lot of the early 2000s and maybe late 90s model S10s or S10 Blazers, possibly some other GM products. But anyway, once these modules get air in the system, it's terrible to try to get out of it. So basically, once this thing had run completely dry of brake fluid and set there, so did the ABS module. It got air in the system as well. And you know, it's possible when you have things that go out, master cylinder, brake line, or you have to change a caliper, you're going to have air in your system, and you need to get it all out. If not, you're going to have a spongy pedal or no pedal, and we went for a long time with no pedal. You're going to see in this video too how you do a gravity bleed, because that's important too, because you do need to do that to try to get a lot of the air out as well. Now, this vehicle, like I said, is set up for a long time. I'm going to show you this while I'm at it. As you can see here, we have a pulley in place of the air conditioner. It's a bypass pulley for the air conditioner. We ordered a bearing, and we're going to try to replace it in the clutch pulley housing, I guess what you call it. But the bearing was so bad, it distorted the pulley itself. So instead of putting on a new air conditioner compressor, which we will eventually do if this truck runs the way it's supposed to run, ordered this bypass pulley, got it off of eBay, relatively cheap. I think it was like $30, and I just wanted to show you guys. I'll put a link to it in the description below where you can get one of them if you run into this situation. It does seem a little cheaply made on the pulley itself, but it does work well. It does fit with the same factory belt. And I think it's going to hold up. I think it's going to hold up for what we're trying to do and all that. I taped off the ends of the air conditioner lines. Now here's the other thing too. The seal was out on the back of the AC compressor, and it had already lost all of its refrigerant, so I didn't release this into the atmosphere. I don't want the climate people after me. No, I didn't do that. It was already evacuated because of a leak that was unknown. Blah blah blah. Here we are. So I kind of just zip tied this the lines over so they can't fall down and get into the fan belt or against the pulley or anything like that. Okay, back to the brakes. So master cylinder, bench bled it, all that good stuff. It's in another video. Like I said, I'll put it up here. And so that's brand new. We fixed the brake line that was broke. What we have to do now, I'm going to put a new set of brakes on the front of this truck. I already have new brakes on the back. When I fixed the brake line, I put new brakes on the back. I'm going to put new brakes on the front, and then we're going to try to eliminate all the air that's still in the system, because I have put in a lot of time trying to get all the air out. And I called GM. I got a quote for like 140 bucks, but that was not a guarantee. So if they got it in there and it went longer than an hour or two, they would start, charging by the hour or whatever to finish it. So ordered the Foxwell NT 630 Plus. I've seen a lot of reviews online, and that's not what we're doing here. We're not really reviewing it, but I guess we are in a way, because you're going to see if it works to handle our situation. But it's cheap. I got it for 110 bucks. So why not? All right, I tried to find my long extension. I guess I'll have to use this short one and see if I can bust them loose. Oh, you boy. If this extension was a little bit longer, I'd get the other side over here. Okay. Not the right size. You got to figure that out. Is it just me? Is every time you go to work on something, you always have to have some kind of oddball crap that gets in your way? Probably just me. You guys it's probably easy for you guys. It looks like 3/4 worked on all these other ones, but these oddballs, I have a 13/16. I have a deep barrel hidden out somewhere. This kind of fits, but it's all I got to work with, so that's what we're doing. Alright. Alright. Get this tire off of here. Alright. And I can't really tell the condition of these brake pads, but I just have a sinking suspicion that they're probably no good. I hear a lot of racket up here when I am driving it, like maybe a brake pad is demolished and rubbing on the rotor. I thought maybe one of the covers here was doing it, but I don't think so. I think we got a brake problem. So anyway, I'm gonna try to get a wrench, start busting this loose, and get her done. All I could find to fit on this, guys, was 18mm, which I do not believe that's what the back was. A little confused by that, but here we are. Get this brake caliper off and see what these brakes look like. Really no telling. Interesting. A lot of times you can get in here and pry a little bit, and things will come off a little easier. Sometimes they won't. You want to note where your warning tabs are while you're doing this as well. You want to hang your brake caliper or have something under here to keep it from hanging on the way to the line. That's a bad thing. This actually fits in here pretty decent like that. I'm gonna be careful not to mess it up, but now these pads, they really don't look bad, but I'm gonna change them anyway, I think. Let me get the new brake pads and let's kind of compare and see how much meat we have on these compared to the new ones. Let's try that. These new brake pads are from the O'Reilly's. Not sponsored. And this is just the cheapest ones they had in stock. Yeah, there's quite a bit more meat on these. So I think we are going to go ahead and change them. Now, since this did not come with any hardware, we're going to have to reuse the hardware that's on here. So you're going to want to pay attention to how this hardware is installed, because you're going to be installing it on your new pads. So we're going to pop these brake pads off here and do it that way. So, and hey, I can just say it now, these pads don't look too bad. I mean, if it weren't for this truck setting up and the problems we've been having, I probably wouldn't be changing them. But I heard some racket going on, so I think it's just best. I feel better about it just knowing that we have good brakes on here. Anyway, I need both hands here, so I'm gonna be right back with you. Sometimes you can kind of tap on the brake pad and it'll give you enough room to get behind it. Pop it loose. Another thing too, guys, you don't want to breathe this dust in, you know, so if the wind's blowing in your face, you probably want to do something different. And here's another prime example of why it's a good idea to take pictures and videos of stuff that you're doing, even if you're not going to post it online, because this just fell off. Now, if I wouldn't have had this on video, the other one just fell off. How would I know which direction these things go? You'd be guessing, or you'd be searching on Google and trying to figure it out. So just something to think about. I want to do it for the back as well, and all that good stuff. So they're not all that bad, but like I said, considering what we've done here and what we've had to do, I'm going to go ahead and change them, and I'll just throw these back in the box and they can go on later, you know. Anyway, get this other one freed up here, and it looks like it's pretty freed. It should pry off pretty easily. Try to do it to where it doesn't come completely off and just fall everywhere. Like so. That way I can physically take it out. Yeah, that pad there, I don't know what's really going on here. It might be time for a set of rotors on this thing. Not sure, but anyway, get right back with you in just a second. Alright, the best way I've found to change hardware over in a situation like this is have them side by side just like this. Pull the hardware off and then slip them directly on to the new part. It's easier to do it that way. If not, you can get discombobulated, or I can anyway. So that's how I do it, and then I put it back on just like that and see how that fell off. But I do know the orientation. And yeah, we just put it right back on and right back in place, just like so. Just like that. I'll get my C-clamp and then we'll take care of that. wanted to show you guys too how I've got some paper towels wrapped around here. Catch any brake fluid that comes out, because if you have a full reservoir, it will. Turkey baster here and make sure it's clean. You can take out some of this brake fluid and it will help keep from getting everywhere if you do that. So I will take a little bit out like so, and that'll help keep it from being such a mess. Anyway, all right guys, before we go any further, I kind of want to show you the C-clamp here that we're going to be using to try to get this caliper pushed in. I've gotten to the point now you just can't seem to get a good one anymore. This one's really not a good one. It used to be a great one, and I loved it because you could mash this button and it kind of take a lot of the turning out of it. As you can see, it's seen its better days. But I wanted to show you guys this. If you have a welder at home, you try to weld on a nut at the end of it. It just makes life a little bit easier. There are some times where I'll still stick a screwdriver up through the hole and use it, but for the most part I try to use the nut and all that. So if you have a welder at home, try taking your grinder and grind down on the end, get it pretty smooth and square. Put you a nut on, weld the inside of it, make sure you weld it pretty good. You know, it might take 2 or 3 tries to get it, but anyway, just wanted to show that to you. I'm going to try to get this caliper depressed and move on to the other side. Just kind of wanted to show you guys how I do this. You know, everybody does it a little different. I take an old brake pad, I put it here. You know, this caliper has 2 pistons, so I'll probably have to move the C-clamp to each side and all that good stuff. But kind of wanted to give you an idea here. Sometimes you'll have to take the lid off the reservoir on the master cylinder as well to help relieve some pressure. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to tighten this down. I'll try to get it on video, but just removed the cap on the reservoir. Now, I could use an impact on the end of this, but I choose not to because, first of all, it's hard to get these nuts to stay on. So I usually just try to do it as so. Anyway, I'm going to try to do it where you can see what I'm doing here. It just makes it easier being able to do this with a ratchet. Alright, so I've got that depressed pretty good. I'll back this off a little bit. Alright, so you've seen how I was able to depress this side. So now I'll move the C-clamp over to the other side. Put a ratchet back on. And just slowly turn it with this ratchet. It just makes it so much easier having this ratchet on here. It really, really does. Anyway, you just push this on in and we'll be good to go. This thing is ready to go back on the truck. I'm gonna get this C-clamp off of here and then just get it back installed and move to the other side, and then we'll get on to the bleeding process. But that's pretty much it. Not much to it. You know, you can take some brake grease. Some people choose to put a little bit right here. I personally do not. I just don't like getting grease that close to the actual brake pad. Some part of that just doesn't seem right. You do want it to move freely, so you know, maybe watch it or follow your instructions in your manuals or whatever for your specific vehicle. And I'm going to put a little bit of grease on these pins before I put them back in and get this thing slapped back together. And then we'll get on to the bleeding process. As I said a while ago, I am going to put a little bit of grease on the pin, on both pins. Doesn't take a lot, just a little bit. That way we can get a better smooth transition on the piston or on the caliper as it goes in and out, all that good stuff. Just want to show you there, just a little bit. Goes a long ways. All right guys, as you can see, we have the brake caliper back on. Everything went smooth, everything's good. Brakes are on there. And basically we do the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to move over there. I'm not going to worry about recording that. Just going to get it knocked out and we'll move on to the bleeding process with the Foxwell NT630 Plus and see if we can't get all the air out of the ABS module. That's going to be the plan. If you need to, skip ahead. Like I said, get the tire and everything back on and be right back with you. So basically, we're going to just hook everything up like we normally would. 10mm wrench is what's required for this particular one. It's going to be hard to see here, guys. I like to put the wrench on first, and then the brake, or then the drain hose. Seems to work pretty good for me. And this is a little difficult to get on. It's probably the hardest one on the truck, honestly. But it's the one we need to be on, so that's what we're doing. But you can find videos all over the internet, including my channel, where I show you how to do a gravity bleed like this. So, yeah. What we're going to do is go ahead and crack this open. They say half a turn to full turn on the Foxwell, but I think a quarter turn is absolutely plenty. I think any more than that, you're asking for trouble. So basically, there we go. Wrench is still on. Make sure your hose stays in the fluid down here. If you look close, you can see the brake fluid moving because that's the air that's already in this line here that is already coming out. So we're gonna go up and run the automated test again, our automated bleed procedure, and give her a shot. Want to make sure that your reservoir is full. It is full for us, so here we are. We're back to the automated bleed screen. I'm gonna hit enter. It's loading the data. Let you see what's going on. Alright, it says press the brake pedal firmly and run the scan tool automated bleed procedure. 15,000 GVW, which is gross vehicle weight. You do this once, or you run the function test above 15,000 gross vehicle weight 4 times. Release the brake pedal between each test. So, we're going to hit OK. And we're going to follow these directions here, and I know that it's moving around a lot. It says stop vehicle. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to hit F3, which is OK. Check the fluid level. The fluid level is good. The parking brake is set. Shift transmission into park or neutral, and it is in park. Hold the brake pedal. Release the brake pedal. Apply and hold the brakes. Tuck in, and it's really pushing back hard. Well, I guess we let off the brake now. So we're gonna go back and check now. See what kind of damage we have. You know, it came down some, but not as bad as I thought it would be. So that's kind of interesting. Actually didn't get as much out as I thought we would. I think what we're going to do is do it again. And see if we can get a little more out. Because that's the thing, we know this ABS is, I know it's full of air. I mean, it's just got a bunch in it. I just know it does. So back at it again. I'm going to hit enter. And we're going to run this and we're going to do it again. I'm going to hit F3. Stop vehicle. Okay. Check fluid. Already done. Park or neutral, it is in park. Apply and hold the brake pedal. you guys see what it's doing to my foot. Well, I caught you late there, but man. Maybe we can get a look here exactly what is happening or not happening. That'd be the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to repeat the same procedure that I just showed you. I'm going to do that on all 4 tires, and I may do it 2 or 3 times. I'll get back with you and report to you if it's actually working. But it's definitely making the ABS kick on. So if there's air in there, I'm pretty sure we're getting it out. So it's starting to get a little bit dark out here too, so I might finish this video tomorrow, but I'm going to do this on all 4 tires. Probably going to do it 2 or 3 times because I want to make sure air is out, and I'd rather put the time in and do it. So yeah, stick with me. Welcome back to the program, everybody. Hope you're having a great week. Still working on that 2004 Chevrolet Blazer. Man, it's been a pain in the butt trying to get all that air out. I used the Foxwell NT630 Plus, and I've been running the automated brake bleed on it. I really can't tell the difference. I can tell that, I mean, it's definitely purging the system, but I just don't see. It's just something else is not, something just doesn't seem right. I'm purging it, but I really don't see any active bubbles other than on the cap when you take the cap off of the reservoir. I am seeing some there, so, but not in the bottle, not in the line. So I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and do a regular gravity bleed on it now that I've purged the ABS module, and just gravity bleed it again, see if that, you know, through the course of today's gonna be my last day that I have an opportunity to actually work on the thing. So it's now or never. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work on trying to get it gravity bled again all the way around, and hopefully that takes care of our problem. Stick with me, and we'll see how it goes.